Flutterwave came with the aim to build a common infrastructure to connect the diverse payment types cut across the world and make payment a smooth flow. When you talk payments, you talk Flutterwave. This fintech company has grown to become the most valued fintech unicorn in Africa. If you ventured into the fintech industry, you would know the race is not for the weak. The target is always to become a fintech unicorn in as short a time as possible. A fintech unicorn is a privately held startup company with a value of over $1 billion. Let me enlighten you. $1 billion is equivalent to roughly 740 billion naira, depending on the time you are watching this video. As you can see, that is a lot of money. But Flutterwave achieved this in less than 5 years. How was that possible? Especially in this economy. Who were the brains behind the massive leapfrog? Join me as I uncover a story that involves masterminds, intelligence, backstabbing, corruption, harassment, and even fraud. This is the story of Flutterwave. Flutterwave has been on a leapfrog movement, moving at a pace that's fascinating. It started in Nigeria with its headquarters at San Francisco, but now it cut across 34 different countries in Africa, including Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa. No wonder they tagged it with endless possibilities. The payment giant has gone on to serve over 900,000 merchants, process over 200 million transactions, worth over $16 billion till date, across 34 countries in Africa for companies including Microsoft, Twitter, Bywire, Airpeace, and Uber, which has led to the company becoming one of Africa's earliest unicorn in March 2021. They have expanded to Egypt, Rwanda, Tanzania, Morocco, and currently planning to set sail to the USA, the UK, and Europe as a whole. An incredible thing about Flutterwave is that it helps you receive payment from your customers from different parts of the world with several payment methods such as bank accounts, cards, USSD, QR codes, mobile money, and many more. No wonder Stuart Jackson, founder and MD, Regency Analysis, said, "When it comes to fintech, the center of the world is not the USA or UK or Europe, it's Africa." Trust me, he was not wrong. Flutterwave was founded in 2016 by Iyinoluwa Aboyeji, Olubenga Abula, and Adeleke Adekoya, three young Nigerians who dreamed to fly not as an eagle, but as a butterfly. Small, unnoticed, but powerful. According to the current CEO, Olubenga Abula, he said he thought to himself, how do we become a butterfly that can create a ripple effect in the ecosystem and still be tiny, yet make waves? Hence why they went with the name Flutterwave, and with the very obvious butterfly on their logo and their adverts. Flutterwave CEO Olubenga Abula, popularly known with initials GB, is a 38-year-old Nigerian software engineer and entrepreneur. He was born in Lagos 1985 and graduated from MIT with an MBA. He worked at several digital firms and banks, including PayPal and Standard Bank. He also worked as a product manager on Google Wallet. Prior to Flutterwave, Adeleke Adekoya, who is also a co-founder at Flutterwave, worked at Access Bank as the head digital bank and was also acting head of e-business at Stanbic IBTC Bank. Iyinoluwa Samuel Aboyeji is a 32-year-old Nigerian entrepreneur, born in March 28, 1991, born to parents from Warri, Delta State. Iyin attended and graduated from Loyola Jesuit College in Abuja in 2007. He went ahead to study legal studies and economics at the University of Ottawa in Ontario, Canada. Iyin tried his hand at his first tech company called Bookneto Inc. at the age of 19, a social e-learning platform for university professors to independently teach online courses. In 2014, alongside Jeremy Johnson, Iyin co-founded Andela, a talent accelerator that recruits and trains software developers and connects them with employers. He grew to be one of Nigeria's best-known startups. It received a $24 million investment from Facebook founder Zuckerberg, and Iyin helped build it to over 100 million market cap in 2 years. In 2016, he left Andela to start Flutterwave. Like most fintech companies, Flutterwave seems to have its own dark underbelly, and according to David Hundien, a business reporter, he said, Thinking of Flutterwave as simply a business that processed electronic payments would be like thinking of the New York Mafia as a group of pizza shop owners. Well, there certainly is that, but there is also so much more going on under the hood. But let's pull the curtain on them, shall we? Flutterwave has been called out on numerous edicts that include sexual harassment, bullying, mismanagement, and serious administrative errors, fraud, and lots more. Former employees allege that the company encouraged a culture of impunity among senior executives and behaviors that include bullying and inappropriate relationship between managers and staff. The company underpaid departing employees for their stock options, and basic administrative errors were made with the company's documentation, creating serious legal problems for former staff. After the company first launched, Flutterwave management went on a charm offensive to attract workers, but they also hired from within their circles, including Ifeoluwa Orioke, Abula's brother-in-law, who joined as CFO in 2018. Orioke, alongside other senior executives, were very arrogant to the other staffs, as well as their teammates. Orioke would occasionally make unwanted sexual advances at female employees and in most cases have his way with them. He had a reputation as his fame in the field was widely spread in the company. I guess Orioke felt above the law since his white brother was CEO. I mean, GB won't sack his brother-in-law and start a family war, right? Even after GB's attention was drawn to Orioke's escapades, instead of Orioke being reprimanded or punished even, he was moved to the position of Chief Commercial Officer in 2019. Yes, a promotion. Isn't that amusing? Allegations of harassment started going public and it made Visa, one of their investors, to pull out. Bringing to light the company's significant administrative errors, in 2019, former CEO of Flutterwave, Ian, who resigned in 2018, was arrested and locked up in jail for a day. The Nigerian police stated that, as at that time, Flutterwave was accused of fraud after failing to refund a customer's card transaction. Apparently, Aboyeji was arrested because Flutterwave had neglected to take his name off its official documentation. He was later released without being charged. A former staff of Flutterwave and now CEO of SoftBank-backed Cradles, an opening banking startup, Clara Wanjiku Odero, recounted a similar experience. Odero, who until 2018 held the title of Head of Implementation at the company, making her responsible for the expansion into East Africa, alleged that she had been bullied and harassed by the company's current CEO, Olubenga GB Abula, and that the company's negligence had led to her being investigated by the Kenyan police. She had been named as the contact person of the company's bill payment service in Kenya and for its M-Pesa mobile money account. Though she had left the company in November 2018, she was still listed as its contact in May 2019 when she was approached by 20 people demanding refunds after they paid for sex parties in Nairobi via Flutterwave. When it turned out parties weren't real, the buyer started threatening Odero. Odera was later investigated over the parties by Kenya Directorate of Criminal Investigation. Quite troublesome. Odero sued Flutterwave for negligence and emotional trauma and was awarded $2,500 in damages. Odero also accused Flutterwave of withholding payments due to her after she resigned. Employee stock ownership plans was also a survival of the fittest game. Many past workers complained of the difficulties they faced with these stock options, which gives employees the right to own equity in the company, which were used as a honeycomb to attract workers to the company. This was the fate of an interviewed ex-employee whose identity is considered for obvious reasons. She confirmed that former Flutterwave CEO, Ian, signed off on her employment and confirmation letter offering her 40,000 shares, which at current market value was roughly $2 million. However, this letter was sucked into hate shortly after Ian was abruptly and unexpectedly fired by GB, leaving him locked out of the company's resources, including his official email. Yeah, more on that later. No matter how many times she met GB concerning it, he did not bat an eye. In response to her plea, she decided to take legal action against Flutterwave and contacted a reputable law firm, Banwo and Igolado, to work on the case. But guess what? Suddenly, Banwo and Igolado informed her that they would have to drop her case as they had been retained by Flutterwave. Clearly, GB was good with checks. He just signs the check and the problem disappears. Former employees also revealed that Flutterwave made an underestimated offer to the lucky employees who were able to secure their shares, offers as low as $3.5 per share. Taking a look at the cap table spreadsheet, which is a list of investor shares in a company, it showed that Flutterwave shares was valued for around $20 during its Series C round and were valued at $52.45 during its Series D. Now, do the math. This means these apparently lucky employees were only permitted to get roughly 17.5% of the value of the shares. These shares from reliable sources are only allowed to be sold to an investment trust controlled by none other than GB himself at the price he decides. Another victim of this claimed that it was after a conversation with Ian about the shares that Ian tweeted, "There is this inflating thing that is going on where CEOs cheat their employees by forcing them to sell their valuable stock at exit at below market value to entities they have interest in." I just want to remind folks that this is illegal insider trade and SEC frowns at it. Stop it. Now, this is a good time to talk about how Iyin was pushed out of the company. Although Olubenga Abula is the current CEO of Flutterwave, Iyinoluwa Aboyeji started as the CEO of Flutterwave from its inception in 2016 till 2018. Yeah, I know, I asked the same question. What happened? Why the change in power? Why did Ian step down from the position of a CEO in such a promising fintech company for someone else? I mean, I know I wouldn't. Contrary to your thoughts, Ian never studied computer science or anything in the tech field in school. In fact, when asked how he started, he said, "I got into technology by accident. I had a friend who I met on the first day of orientation and was into computer science. We lost touch. He went to work in Silicon Valley and I went to work as an intern at the United Nations. We crossed paths again and he was telling me about the amazing stuff that was happening at Silicon Valley. Then I got really sucked in and the social network came out. So that's how I got into tech." Well, it is known that GB, former co-founder and now CEO of Flutterwave, was the one who came up with the idea for Flutterwave. He knows the idea since year 2010, but was only able to bring it to life after he teamed up with Ian. GB invited Ian to an event where they met. They eventually solved the problem with the creation of Flutterwave, and Iyinoluwa Aboyeji was made CEO. With Ian being the CEO, co-founder or not, GB had to take orders from him. Now imagine having to take orders from someone, especially when you were the original owner of the idea. Initially, the company in a release said Aboyeji stepped down to pursue family goals, but I think there has to be more to it. However, Aboyeji was said to have been sacked by his co-founder and current CEO of the firm, Olubenga Abula, as he was locked out of his company email and Slack account. And while Aboyeji seemingly admitted that he couldn't gain access to his email and Slack account, the tech investor said he wasn't forced out of it. He stated, "And by my hand, resigned with a letter dated October 12, 2018. Months later, an interview conducted, Iyinoluwa Aboyeji in 2021 had contradicted his claim that there was any disagreement leading to his exit from the African tech unicorn. In the interview with Top Niger TV, he admitted that the current CEO, who is the owner of Flutterwave with over 59% control, didn't like the fact that Ian was telling him what to do. In his word, he said, "It happened sooner than we all hoped, but it was always going to happen." If you are the founder of a business and this guy that you told about the business rightfully helped you is now telling you what to do, there is bound to be some negative energy. And that's really what happened. So once I sensed the negative energy, I was like, "Look man, there is no need for us to do this. I've been waiting for you to get here from day one. Here is the crown. Goodbye." GB kept his squad at Access Bank while building Flutterwave and hid this fact from both his Access Bank colleague and the intending investors at Flutterwave at the time. He did this for 2 years while using Ian as just the face of the business. That means Ian was never actually more than just a cover-up for him, making the young tech figure one of his pawn in his schemes. You'd also find it interesting that GB also had the habit of changing his entire identity when it is convenient to do so. In 2016, for example, at the commencement of business, Adeleke Adekoya was given 37.5% of the company, and the remaining 62.5% supposed to be divided between GB and Ian. However, GB informed Ian there was a CTO called Greg who would need to be given 10%, which would be taken out of Iyin and Adeleke's shareholding. This would have been fair and unspectacular, were it not for the small fact that Greg and GB were in fact one and the same person. In July 2022, a Kenyan High Court froze Flutterwave accounts with over 6.2 billion of Kenyan shillings upon allegation of fraud and money laundering. It is said that the funds were proceeds of money laundering and credit card fraud after a request from Kenya Asset Recovery Agency. The company, however, has denied the accusation of financial misconduct. On March 3, 2023, CEO of Educare, Alex Onya, tweeted that Flutterwave had been hacked. The tweet read, "Flutterwave has been hacked by Omar Edewo Trades, who has an account at Access Bank, and several millions of naira has been stolen from people's accounts." Prior to this, Flutterwave asked customers to change their API keys and activate IP whitelisting, a security measure that was previously optional. On March 5th, which was 2 days after the tweet was seen, Flutterwave denied it, stating that customers did not lose any funds. However, several sources made it clear that they lost funds and their accounts were frozen. Think about it. If the system was not compromised, why ask everyone to take these measures? Or was it just a coincidence? With all this going on in the underworld of Flutterwave, they definitely have gained a few enemies who would sink the company if given the opportunity. But what are your thoughts? Do you think there is a misunderstanding somewhere? Or is GB really just a fraudster wearing a suit? Let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.